1, the Delaware County Commissioner meeting for July 1st, 2024 is now in session. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Merrill. I'm president of the board this year, and to my right is fellow commissioner and vice chair, Barb Lewis, and also in attendance today is our administrator, Tracy Davies, and our deputy administrators, Don Houston and Eric Hostetler, and of course our clerks, Brandy and Jennifer. Let's begin.
Resolution number 24-521 in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held June 27th, 2024.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-521. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton is absent today. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
We do not have any public comment today for regular session. Resolution number 3, resolution number 24-522 in the matter of approving purchase orders and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM-APR 0628.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-522. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-523 in the matter of granting annexation petition from agent for the petitioner Jill Stedman Tegman Esquire, attorney at law, requesting annexation of 6.4 acres of land in Berlin Township to the city of Sunbury.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-523. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton is still absent. Resolution number 24-524 in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-524. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-525 in the matter of appointing a member to the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
So moved.
Second, discussion,
Good morning, Commissioners. Jane Hawes, Director of Communications. We have before you a resolution recommending the appointment of Erica Faust to the Board of Developmental Disabilities, and we recommend your approval.
I'd just like to make a comment. As we've said before, the quality of candidates we have in this county who are willing to serve on these various boards, and we have a number of boards that we place at a very high level, and the board's very important, and this is certainly one of those. And we've always had great candidates, and I believe we have an exceptional candidate for this board, and I strongly will support the vote. No other comments? Call for the vote.
Yes, I just think she'll do a great job. Thank you.
If they have a call for the vote?
Vote on motion 24-525. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number
Thank
24-526 in the matter of approving the request for proposals for strategic broadband network engineering and
So moved.
deployment. Sorry.
Second, discussion?
Good morning, Eric Hostetler, General Counsel. Before you is a resolution to seek proposals for broadband expansion projects in Delaware County. We completed the community assessment back in January, and that identified some of our unserved and underserved areas according to federal guidelines. And the proposals will address those unserved and underserved areas, targeting existing service providers or those looking to expand within Delaware County. Happy to answer any questions.
I'd just like to, this is a project, I know it's important to the commissioners, areas that are underserved. It's an opportunity to help us address those, and I'm glad to see we're moving forward.
And we were just at the Farm Bureau meeting the other day, and Delaware County Farm Bureau, and they emphasized the importance of broadband. So thank you very much for your help on this. I think I really like the approach that has been presented.
Without any further comment, call for the vote.
Vote on motion 24-526. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number
Thank you.
24-527 in the matter of approving a service agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and Innovative Hardware Incorporated, doing business as EPS, for the installation of cellular repeater systems for the Delaware County Bixby's campus.
So moved.
Second, discussion?
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. Out there at the Bixby campus, the Bixby building, the original Career Center, was originally constructed with a flat roof, and then, I'm not sure exact reason why, whether it's maintenance, they actually added a standing seam metal roof over that roof. So in essence, the building has two roofs over top of it, which creating a problem with self-service throughout the building. So this
Which
booster
we've all
would cover the whole,
experienced.
cover the whole building and take care of that issue.
It's easier than taking a roof off, I guess.
Yes.
A little humor. That's all I have. I have no further comments. I'm glad to see we're addressing it. And without any other comments, call for the vote.
Vote on motion 24-527, Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye. Thank you.
Resolution number 24-528, in the matter of approving the Fourth Amendment to the contract between the Delaware County Department of Job and Family Services, the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, and Delaware County Transit Board for the purchase of transportation services.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Jennifer Wattenshade, the Business Administrator with Job and Family Services. This is a renewal to our contract, and it does come with increased rates. We've been working diligently with Delaware Transit to make sure that our transportation needs are being met for our Medicaid clients, for our work activity clients. If foster families need them to visit, for reunification purposes, things like that. I have done a rough analysis based off of our current usage and the new rates. Essentially, we're asking for $250,000 for this upcoming contract. It is a jump from our $150,000, I believe, this past year. We did have to ask for an increase. Can't remember how much exactly. But our average, with the additional charges, the increases for the mileage rate, the new base rate, which is for the first 5 miles of any trip, and then there's a mileage rate and an additional administration card charge. We're looking at needing about $243,000, so we're requesting $250,000 just to give us a little wiggle room. Delaware Transit is also working on trying to reduce the no-show charges. Sometimes they're last-minute cancels for appointments and they don't call, things like that. So we are hoping to bring down the no-show charges, but it's increasing our base rate for the first 5 miles from $15 to $17. The mileage rate beyond that first 5 miles is going from $3.70 up to $4.15. The no-show cancellation rate is, it's not just a cancellation rate, it's late cancellations, of course. It's going from $15 to $25 because essentially they're still sending out the ride, the driver's time. They still have to wait a certain amount of time. So they are increasing that rate as well to help recoup some of those expenses for loss in the mileage for those portions of the trips. And the additional $4 charge for the admin fees will cover them coordinating the rides. Currently, the client calls to get approval on our side through Medicaid or work activities, and then one of our employees coordinates every one of the trips. Then they send all that information over to Delaware County Transit. They go through and they try to schedule everything, see if there's any wiggle room with, okay, they need to show up at this time, we'll pick them up a little earlier, things like that. So the additional $4 is to help allow them to provide the service of actually scheduling all the trips. So that will be a major relief on some of our staff because they have their regular duties plus this transportation scheduling. So we're really looking forward to letting them handle scheduling. But yeah, that about sums it up.
Okay. I will make a couple of comments. First of all, some of this is just the cost of inflation, and we all know what fuel costs are, so I assume that's a big part of the increase. My understanding or impression is increase in volume perhaps as well?
Yes. During COVID, the pandemic timeframe, the work activities requirement was lifted. There were a lot more telehealth visits, things like that. So now they're needing to go see their providers in person. They're actually required to show up for job searches and work and things like that to earn their benefits too. So yes, definitely an increased amount.
Okay, so that's part of it as well. The no-show part of it, is that paid for by the person who makes the reservation, or JFS pay for that?
JFS pays for it.
So obviously, when someone goes out to provide a service, the cost still exists, so it's understand why there's a charge. I'm sure JFS will do everything they can to try to make people understand that's a charge. The problem is when you don't, it doesn't come out of your pocket, you don't always feel the obligation to make that phone call and say, I can't make it, or I won't be there.
Yes.
So everything JFS can do to assist in that would certainly be helpful. And I just want to commend Delaware Transit. We've come a long way with that organization and where it is today compared to where it was several years back. And being customer friendly, customer service is extremely important, I think, to all the commissioners. And so I applaud the efforts in working together. With that, do you have any comment?
Is anybody, the no-shows, you know, too, are worrisome. Any idea as to why?
So one of the big problems we actually have with scheduling our rides is some of them are elderly and they get their dates, times, appointments mixed up.
Okay.
Some of them schedule the wrong times. Some of them are true no-shows and they just decide not to go to the doctor for the day, or, you know. But for the most part, the no-shows have drastically reduced from
Okay.
the beginning of this contract year, since Delaware Transit has been reaching out to them directly more. But it can be a wide variety. So
Sure.
if it's just one no-show, you know, we understand. Things happen. Sometimes they just forgot to cancel. Sometimes, you know. But if there are multiples, of course, our caseworkers reach out and they're like, hey,
Right,
are
oh,
they
good.
okay? Are they, you know, so they do reach out to try and get some kind of explanation, so yes.
Oh, good, good. So if somebody's doing it time after time, then
Yes.
you try and address that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have had a couple repeat offenders.
Repeat no-shows. Oh,
Do
boy.
we do any sort of reminder to the individual who's asked for the service?
So Delaware Transit, once they set up their ride, they actually have an app and they do have reminder calls, reminder texts. During our most recent meeting with them to finalize some of our processes and, well, new processes, they sent a flex ride for us so that we could get that experience. So I got the text reminder. They call to let you know that they message you the day prior or give you a call, one or the other,
Oh,
depending on your preferences. They give you your pickup window. The app, you can actually open it up and it will show you where on the route and how far out your bus is. They are supposed to call whenever they are there. They usually call about 5 minutes out also. So you do get notifications, you get the reminder the day before, so it's kind of hard to ignore them.
I'm gonna make a stereotypical comment here. Some of the older clients probably either don't want to or don't understand regarding the app, so,
They do get phone calls.
okay, just an observation.
Yes, yeah.
With that, any other comments?
Just thank you very much, and then the staff for the work on this. Thank you.
Call for vote?
Vote on motion 24-528. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye,
Mr. Merrill?
Aye,
Thank you, Commissioners.
thank you.
thank you.
We have a few minutes before we are permitted to start our 10 a.m. Drainage hearing, so that brings us to administrator reports.
No, thank you.
Don?
Good morning, Commissioners. Dawn Houston, Deputy Administrator. I wanted to let you know that today, the Delaware County Transit Agency has expanded their flex service. They will be operating from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, and they also have Saturday hours, which I believe are from 8 to 4. So this was part of their strategic plan, which they rolled out earlier this year, I believe. Tracy was part of that planning process, and so it's a pretty exciting day for them. They've worked very hard to get this set up and in place, and I think it's definitely a great timing for our residents in Delaware County.
Hey, since we're talking about Delaware Transit, it's a big part of the conversation today. Myself and my family used it for the PAL Festival, and it worked seamlessly. We were at the high school and took us down there. We had almost no wait coming back, and the comment my wife said, these are really nice.
Yeah.
So, and I know they've done it for Stratford and for other organizations, so just thought I'd throw in that comment since Delaware
Yes.
Transit seems to be part of our conversation today.
It's definitely a great service. They're also going to be partnering with us for our health fair, which is the first Friday in August 2nd, and they'll be transporting our employees from this area to the Bixby campus. So looking forward to that partnership as well.
Very good. Eric, do you have anything? Commissioner Lewis?
All right, I was on a call with CCAO regarding County Commissioners Association regarding providing Medicaid coverage for those in our jails right now. They don't have that coverage, and the problem is that you need certain medication, and if they're cut off from that, then they suffer, we suffer, because then that presents problems to our staff. So this has been a long process. Some of us have actually worked on this for years at the federal level, and now the state has stepped in, and this would be a waiver, a state waiver for if it is implemented then by our state Medicaid department. So CCAO is very much behind this, and so we're all working on this.
So going forward, at some future date, these costs will be picked up by the federal government or state?
There's always a break, between, or a division between what the feds pay and then what the state pays. The feds pay most of it. Yes, this would be.
It's always been
picked up.
illogical that when somebody goes to jail, Medicaid,
I know.
it makes
I know.
absolutely no sense.
It just,
It should
yeah.
remain a cost
Yeah.
that's paid for by the
yeah,
government, but it has not worked that way, so.
right. It's actually too, they said, the unfortunate thing is, as happens with federal bureaucracies and state bureaucracies too, actually. One of the people on the call said, well, how long will this process take to go into effect? They said, well, it's actually probably going to be about 2 years before we can get through this process. So more to come on this, but at least we're moving in the right direction. So glad to see that. There were a lot of people on the call from throughout the state too. So.
And you mentioned CCO board. The committees you serve on, ones I serve on, it's a topic we all talk about.
Yes, that's correct.
Anything else?
That's it.
I have 3 things. First, attended the Columbus Board of Realtors meeting, housing development, last Friday, and it went really, really well. And very interesting. A lot of good speakers. Kenny McDonald, Brent from the Board of Realtors, William Murdoch, Scott Light was kind of the MC for the panel discussion, which consisted of Leah Evans, who we've become acquainted with because of Homeport, and John Melkai and Joe Thomas. So 2 hours, very enjoyable. I think it was well done by Board of Realtors, and I believe they do this annually now. Secondly, we talk a lot about the services in our county and the things that we do, and I try to attend the drug court graduations and the mission court graduations whenever I can. And I attended last Friday's mission court graduation for a veteran, and I won't use the individual's name, but to sit in the audience and hear the staff talk about what a transition this individual has made, but more importantly, to hear this individual talk about the changes that Mission Court has had in his life and the impact it's had on him. And I told Judge Hemmeter that I would bring this up this morning just to applaud the effort. And I said, how many graduates have we had? So she checked, and 25 graduates since this program started in 2017. And the commissioners were involved in setting it up, I'm sure you recall. And but the individual who spoke, I found that I wrote down several adjectives. It was inspiring, taking responsibility, but also assisting other veterans who are still in the program to stay on course and get to their end zone, figuratively speaking. his appreciation for the process, although he indicated he wasn't all that appreciative in the beginning stages. But a recognition that this program has made a difference in his life, and seeing his family in the audience and the impact he can and I think is having on his family, his 2 daughters, his son, and his wife. I can't say it enough. These are the kind of programs in our county that make me feel good, and I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I had a tear in my eye after hearing him speak. It was that emotional, that impactful, and I applaud Judge Himmeter. I applaud everyone in our county that's involved in these programs, and the mentor for this particular individual. So a lot of good things happen that we don't hear about, except when we have an opportunity to observe them personally. So we're fortunate to live in a great county. So I'll sum it up that way and close with that. And I have one last thing. July 4th is approaching us, Independence Day. We're going to have barbecues and everything else, but it is Independence Day. Let's remember the people who sacrificed to make that possible for all of us 200 years plus years ago, and we would not be where we are today. We would not have what we have today if it was not for the people that made these sacrifices to make it possible for us to enjoy what we enjoy today and unfortunately take way too for granted. With that, do you have any more comments? With
No
that,
comments. Happy 4th.
we have 8 minutes before we can have the hearing, so we will stand in recess until 10 o'clock.